Can somebody lend Minato a hand? Yeah, no, 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 no. So as of late, I've actually been wanting to feel more sympathetic towards the Obito character with the actual anime of Naruto Shippuden. With the latest ending, it does a perfect job at making you feel sympathetic for the character. And I've actually been saying, you know what, man, I'm actually having like a real change of heart, genuinely. I was actually like, you know, I understand what he went through. I guess it's just the way the manga is portraying him. He comes in the scene, and I feel as though whenever Obito comes into the scene and he comes into the chapter, he just slows down everything that's going on. Or Kishimoto deliberately makes everything just go at a standstill, and then you just feel like, oh, it's this fucking character's fault. And it's not necessarily the character's fault, it's just that whenever Kishimoto seems to write Obito in a scene, he wants to slow everything down and just put everything at a complete stop and put everything into just, you know, talk no jutsu type of stuff. Like in this week's chapter, all the stuff that has been going, everything, the manga has been going very good lately. It's been fucking awesome. But then in comes Obito, and it's just like most of the chapter, Madara's talking about how the sage's world is wrong, and how you're Madara, I'm Madara, he's Madara, she's Madara, anybody who believes in me is Madara, you're nothing but simply Madara, we're all the same, we're all one, because you believe in my dream. And I feel as though with this chapter, it was kind of like, okay, we have so many things going on, why did it just completely come to a standstill again? We have the barefooted dude, nothing to do with him this chapter. We have the spiral Zetsu with the dude that's inside of him that we all suspect is Yamato, nothing in this chapter. It's kind of like just the story progression. Everything really just stood at a standstill. And the most you could say about this chapter is it gave some development for Obito, where he finally got pushed beyond all this bullshit and finally saw Madara for what he really is, and everything that he stood for what it really is. So in a sense, this was mainly, I guess you could say, a character-driven chapter for Obito. But aside from that, you can't deny that this chapter almost felt as though it was manga filler. Like filler in manga, because you're just looking at it and it's just like constant talk of stuff that we've heard dozens upon dozens of times of how this world is corrupt, and that's why, you know, you gotta live like Madara. And it's just like, no, we had so many amazing things going on. Right now, Obito needs to step aside. Not to mention the logistics of Obito actually coming back from being unconscious. First of all, he had all the Biju ripped out of him. Why is this motherfucker not only able to still be conscious, but also walk up to Madara and stab him through the fucking chest with his arm? It's like, he should be, if not dead, then on his deathbed, ready to just, you know, completely pass out. I'm hoping in the next chapter, or something along the lines of that Madara just cuts his arm off and says, you're not fucking shit, you're a pussy, and just like starts choking him, and then like that's the end of it. Because it's like everything was going great, and then in come Obito, and it's kind of like, no bro, no. Not to mention that Kishimoto seems to have this sick sense of humor when it comes to Minato. Last week he fails to put the Kyuubi chakra into Naruto. This week he once again fails. He tries to use Senjutsu with a Rasengan to Madara, ends up getting his arm chopped off, so now he's completely defenseless. He doesn't have any arms, and then, you know, completely owned in this chapter. So it's kind of like, God damn, Minato, you're getting owned pretty bad, bro. I love this character, but Jesus Christ. I'm curious if he can actually restore that arm, or is he still bound by, you know how when you're attacked, I remember when they were fighting Obito, when they were attacked, they completely were stopped from regenerating. I'm curious as to, is that still affecting him? Or when Madara attacked him, does that affect him? So is he going to be completely armless? Because if that's the case, then what good is he really going to be aside from a extra set of eyes? And in a nutshell, that's mainly what we got with the chapter. In come Obito, Madara talks a lot. Obito decides, you know what, I'm a good guy now, stabs him, and yeah, Minato got owned in the process, because aside from that, it was kind of like, yeah, we have Naruto dying, Sasuke dying, barefooted guy, Spiral Zetsu with the mysterious person inside of them, a lot of things going on, but instead it was just like, yeah, let's talk about stuff that we already know. So with this chapter, I wasn't necessarily too excited. I felt a bit disappointed in certain aspects, because it's kind of like, yeah, Obito can actually be not that bad of a character. You can actually feel sympathetic towards him if it's done correctly. And I feel as though whenever he comes inside the chapter, it's kind of like, it just puts the whole fucking story at a complete standstill that you do not want to fucking be in. Like, he comes in and is just talking about feelings and how chakra was meant for this, but instead humans used it for that. And no, 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 no. My high hopes is next week Madara says, I don't give a fuck about you anymore, and just completely obliterates Obito, not giving a fuck about the QB chakra that's in Black Zetsu right there. Just Black Zetsu jumps off right when Madara obliterates him, because at this point, really, what is really going to happen with Obito? I said it before and I'll say it again. He can't go back to the Hidden Leaf. It would just seem absolutely ridiculous if they said, oh, you know, you just committed so many murders and wars and whatnot, but we're going to have you back. And the Raikage is going to be like, yeah, buddy, yeah. No, it's not going to happen like that. So in order for anything to make sense, I mean, they're not going to put him in a prison. He could just keep on teleporting out of there. He has to die in this battle in order for there to be any sort of resolution for the character, because that would make sense for that matter, because you can't put him in prison because he could just warp out. You can't necessarily have him come to any village and say, yeah, man, he's totally a good guy now after everything is done. That would just be, like, absolutely mindfuckery. Like, yeah, you committed all these atrocities, but we're going to forgive you, bro. So he has to die. And I think right now will be the perfect opportunity, even though necessarily it's kind of like, okay, finally the character picked a resolve, and hopefully he sticks with it this time. It's time for him to go. And I feel as though this point was reached so that, okay, he finally had his crossover from bad guy to good guy. This is what he picked. Now maybe he can finally die with proper, I guess, resolution, proper conclusion to the character where, yeah, Madara just completely hits him, knocks him out, and then maybe Kakashi comes and they have one final talk, which I think would be vital to the character as well, where maybe Obito gives him that final eye or something along the lines of that. So, yeah, that's where I stand with the chapter. In all honesty, I was just like, the best thing that it did is that it finally gave Obito his resolution, but aside from that, it's kind of like, it just put the story once again at a standstill, and I was like, we got out of that. We were doing great. Let's not go back into that, please. So I'm going to give this chapter 3.5 out of 10. I felt as though just Obito really, like, it's not even the character. It's just the way that things go when the character shows up, and I feel as though it just, like, put everything in a ridiculous state. So as of right now, hopefully next week, things go back to the way it's been for like the past couple months, and we get some epic ownage, some story progression once again, because aside from Obito, you know, picking his side, that's all we really got, and Minato getting owned, which, please, no more Minato ownage. My heart can't take it anymore. Let me know what you guys think. First of all, what did you think regarding Obito's development in this chapter? Did you feel that it was genuine, his final crossover from bad guy to good guy? Also, what do you think about Madara's speech? Did you feel wowed by it? Do you feel like you're Madara? Just overall thoughts of the chapter. Did you feel as though it paused everything and just kind of went back into that stuff that we had when Obito became the mock sage back in, you know, months ago? Or do you feel as though it was amazing or something? I highly doubt anyone could feel that this was an amazing chapter. I mean, it's cool that Obito picked his side, but no. But that's all I have for this review. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Thumbs up if you're hoping for Madara to finally obliterate this guy so we can move forward with the story and get things back in the swing of how they should be. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.